Hi there everyone, Richard Tubb here, and I'm currently in Heathrow Airport, just heading to Edinburgh for a weekend of rest and relaxation. I've been on the road quite a lot lately. I mentioned in the last podcast that I was working out of London, Docklands, delivering a presentation to the Zen partner community. I zigzagged from there to speak to the Northwest SBSC user group run by Robert Gibbons up there in Manchester, where we did an MSP Q&A evening, which went really well. Then flew from there to Dubai to deliver the keynote at a security conference. And finally back to London, where I am at the moment, just finishing off 2 days at the CompTIA EMEA Conference, which took place at the Queen Elizabeth II Conference Centre, slap bang in the centre of London in Westminster, which made for an interesting couple of days because yesterday was November the 5th. And so we had the anonymous group, the protesters with the Million Mask March, which made for really interesting times in and around the conference centre because we literally were slap bang in the middle of those protests. Anyway, it was a great conference, 2 days of really good speakers at the CompTIA EMEA Conference. And I thought I'd take a tact very similar to what we did in episode 2 of the podcast, where we did the 3 best MSP tools from Autotask Community Live 2014. So I thought I'd speak to 3 of the most interesting MSP and IT consultant tools that I found at the CompTIA EMEA Conference. I spoke to Ben Lang of Rummage. I spoke to Dave Clark of Benham UK, a VoIP provider, and also Mark Charlton of UK distributor Blue Solutions about AppRiver, an Office 365 app. So 3 really interesting apps, 3 really interesting people, really nice people to speak to. I hope you enjoy the interviews. So I'm here at the CompTIA EMEA Conference with Ben Lang of Rummage. How you doing, Ben?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. So tell us a little bit about Rummage.
Rummage is a file search and organisation tool. We did some research and we had the problem ourselves, and that was when it comes to managing, organising and finding your data, it can be very difficult. More and more this day and age, as technology creeps into our lives, we're making files, we're sending files, we're sharing them, we're storing them in all sorts of different areas. And a lot of the time, when it comes to surfacing information, trying to get them back and just organising it all, it takes a lot of time to do so. Mm-hmm. So what Rummage does is it gets to know you a little bit. It understands your contacts. It sucks them in from LinkedIn, Facebook, Outlook, Gmail, these sort of mediums. And it also analyses your file and folder structure within your organisation, gets to know your projects and your clients. And then it automatically generates tags. So we found that, if you're a meticulous organizer, that's fine, you can find things, but often colleagues are sending them, they're sharing them, they're storing them in locations, and other people can't find them when they want to, and they waste time at work when it comes to looking for this information. And so we created a tagging engine. It's an automatic tagging engine. It will go through all your files, gets to know what's important to you, and tags everything appropriately.
And so you mentioned that it brings in files from lots of different locations. So for instance, myself, I'm a Google Apps user. Mm-hmm. I use Gmail. I also use Google Drive as well as Dropbox. Yeah. I've got a local NAS with files on there. Mm-hmm. Would Rummage help me to search through those type of files?
Well, it absolutely would. What we've been developing the past year is the alpha, and that works at the moment. It works on a local machine. But that includes, you've got Dropbox folders there, you've got Google Drive folders there, you've got your local email. And so currently, the free version out now today, will do all that, and we'll scan all these mediums. What we're working on now is bringing even more things to the forefront, where we will index your cloud services. Everything all in one place is what we're aiming for. So if you do use Dropbox, you do send attachments, you do have things locally or on shared drives, or in the cloud, don't waste time looking for it. Rummage has done the hard work for you, just use that.
And how much time would you estimate people do waste looking across those various services for files?
That's a very good question. In actual fact, the Wall Street Journal mentioned it recently, and it was a phenomenal statistic. I can't quite remember, but it's on the ballpark of a couple of hours a week.
A couple of hours a week,
person wasted just looking for data. just trying to manage all those emails, manage all those files everywhere. And then, it's about surfacing information. And in this day and age where we expect technology to work and we're busy, I need it now, and Rummage provides.
And who are you working with to get the product out to end users? Are you working with IT solution providers and managed service providers? What does an ideal client look like for you?
That's a good question. An ideal client will be anybody in a small, medium business who, where money is tight. They don't have enterprise level solutions. They don't have enterprise level search and organisation. And at the moment, we've taken sort of a low risk, self-funded approach. We've developed the idea completely in-house. And we now have the alpha out there, so it's a fantastic opportunity for us to look for partners and talk to managed service providers and talk to the IT world and say, look, we've got a fantastic idea. We've produced the alpha. We've got downloads. We've got users. We're really kicking off, and it's a great time to connect with us and talk about our product.
Now, as anybody listening to this can tell, we're at a busy conference, the EMEA Conference. There's lots going on around us. The conversations that you've had with IT solution providers and managed service providers, what's the feedback been for Rummage?
Feedback's been quite positive. I've been really happy with the conversations I've had. It's not for every MSP. Not everybody wants to take a piece of software and then bundle it up with the package that they already sort of produce. But then what I've really discovered here, talking to managed service providers, is that there's a lot of differences in how they approach their profession, and I really think, having some fantastic conversations, that it is a tool that MSPs can get on board with, because at the end of the day they're providing a service to their clients, and that service is all about productivity, it's all about efficiency, and Rummage is about that. It's about saving time. It's about saving time for the end user, and essentially, for the MSP, we actually might be reducing the number of support tickets they get from clients if the clients aren't calling them up saying, "I've lost this. I don't know where my data is," because Rummage helps you visualize all your data.
So helping the MSP to lower the cost of support.
You could say that.
Fantastic. So if anybody listening to this wants to find out more about Rummage, how would they get in touch with you, Ben? How would they look up Rummage on the web?
Absolutely. Well, we're on the the main social platforms. So I'd say the best place is our website, and that's getrummage.com. You can contact us directly through the website. But of course, we've got Twitter and Facebook as well. So our Twitter handle is @getrummage, and Facebook is www.facebook.com/getrummage.
I like the uniformity.
So much.
Well, thanks for your time, Ben. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
No problem at all. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
I'm here at the CompTIA EMEA Conference with Dave Clark of Benham UK. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good, actually, Richard. Thanks very much.
Good. So tell us a little bit about Benham UK and what you do.
Okay. We started recently in the UK, Finnish-based company. So the business was started in 2008. It's cloud-based telephony, and it does a few sort of quite clever things. It integrates mobile, fixed, and unified communications in one platform. What does that mean? It means that all of the devices you use for telephony are extensions of the same system. So whether that be your mobile, perhaps your desktop VoIP phone, or if you're using Microsoft Link on your computer, and it as I said, it brings everything together in one platform. So your mobile truly is an extension of the same network. Your Link client is truly an extension of the network. And call center functionality can be delivered right throughout that. And there's some extra things that can happen. You can have call recording on any device. If you're in a different country and somebody rings you, you can take your call through your Link client rather than on your mobile to avoid roaming charges, but people are still phoning you on your mobile number, or you could be presenting a fixed line number, whichever you choose. A lot of flexibility in the system.
And what type of clients are actually using this system at the moment? Have you got any great examples of how somebody's benefiting from the system?
Yeah, I mean, types of businesses using it. We've got a number of organisations that have got quite a large sales focus, so they've got people who work from offices or out from client premises. And for them, It's the flexibility of being able to use things wherever they are, but also there's a lot of reporting functionality within the system. So if you've got people like that, it's important to know kind of for them to know who are their important customers, who are their important conversations. So there's a lot of reporting built into it in the background. We've got other organisations that have small sort of offices in other countries. So for them, it's important for everybody to be included in the same network.
And we're at the EMEA Conference today, and there's a lot of IT solution providers, managed service providers. So which particular types of IT businesses are you looking to partner with?
We're not looking for huge numbers of partners. What we want to find is partners who have a similar view of the world to us, who perhaps are offering innovative services. So on the straight IT service provider side, people who are moving their business into managed services, so they see telephony as an important aspect for the overall IT support that they're providing to those people. So people who are supporting installations of 50 to sort of 500 users, maybe across multiple sites. So that's on the solution provider side. There may be other businesses who have a background of selling PBX systems and are now perhaps moving into cloud-based systems to replace those old PBXs as they become end of life and aren't supported anymore, or the vendor that made those things has been acquired for the 5th or 6th time by somebody. And so their clients are looking for something to replace what they've got, but probably to add some functionality to the operation. And there'll be a lot of resellers who are selling Link maybe as just a unified comms solution that people use in-house, and we can actually add telephony to that, and then perhaps build an overall service package from that.
And what about the barrier to entry for partners? Do you have certain levels that you look for, or sales targets that they need to achieve? What does that look like?
The more important thing is the relationship. So I was introduced to CompTIA by Mark from Pensar, who I've known for some time, and people like Mark have a very progressive and collaborative view of the marketplace, and that fits really well with how we see the world. We have a number of partners in our business that we collaborate with and bring them in as and when that's required. And I think it's that approach more than anything else that we look for, rather than in the early stages the hard numbers or the targets or that kind of thing. The relationship is key, because if we have a good relationship, then the way people do business is they do business with people like them. And so their clients are going to be a reflection of the type of provider that they are. And that's what we're looking for. That's the most important thing for us.
Makes a lot of sense, absolutely. So in terms of the benefits of the IT companies that you partner with, what does the opportunity look like in sort of pounds and pence for them?
If you look at the moment in Finland and across some of the other countries, we're looking at sort of average revenues per user, in some instances up to about £60 or £70 a user. So, and a reseller is going to be earning a good margin in that. So you could be talking, on something like that, the potential to be earning a margin of perhaps £20 a user out of that, which if you think of 50, 100, couple of hundred users, then that can build it into something that's a pretty substantial part of the business. And we don't say to them, this is what you've got to sell this for, because we recognise that more often than not, they're probably going to be including maybe this as part of an overall package. And for us, if it can add value and they can add a premium to that, then so much the better for them. They can contact me via my email, which is dave.clark with an E at benneman.uk. The UK website is at www.benneman.uk. Or I'm on Twitter at Dave Clark.
And that's exactly where we met, on Friday Favourites. So it's lovely to meet you at last, Dave. I hope you've enjoyed the conference, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much, Richard.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Here at the CompTIA EMEA Conference, I'm with Mark Charlton of distributor Blue Solutions. How you doing, Mark?
Yeah, today's been really good, actually. It's a good opportunity to network with vendors and some nice MSPs. So we've had some good conversations.
Excellent. And just before we went on air, we were talking about AppRiver. For people on the listeners to the podcast and never heard it before, perhaps you could explain a little bit on why it's a benefit to MSPs.
Yeah, so AppRiver is one of our new vendors we've just signed up. So they're a cloud provider. Offering kind of anti-spam and web security in the cloud, and they've also got kind of a good history with hosted exchange. Got over 8 million mailboxes worldwide, so there's some good heritage there. And they're also one of the few syndication partners in the world. Particularly, there's only 3 with a 2-tier distribution agreement, which we've got. So we've now got access to the Office 365 portfolio, and importantly for partners, this gives the partner the ability to own the relationship with the customer. It means, we bill you, you add your margin to it, you retain the control over the bill and the relationship and the support.
And what sort of benefits do you see this solution bringing to an MSP ahead of what is a fairly crowded market?
Well, Office 365 is obviously kind of a Microsoft-driven product set, and you've got the alternatives from Google, and you've got to make your choices with the end users what's appropriate. But a lot of the feedback in the channel was that they didn't like handing over the relationship to Microsoft. They wanted to retain that stickiness, that was important to them really. And on the advisor program, they kind of felt that they lost that closeness with their customer. So this agreement is exactly the same service, it's exactly the same SKUs, it's the same bundles running out the same data center. There's no degradation of service or anything. It's just the relationship is yours.
So it seems to me a fair no-brainer. Why would an MSP go with Microsoft when they can work with Blue Solutions to deliver this?
There's always resellers that feel there's an advantage buying direct from a vendor, and maybe you kind of need to experience their kind of support offering and their billing process and decide whether it works for you or not. On the advisor program, there's many different stories of rebates and how much you get, and when you get them, our model gives you upfront margin. One of the great challenges with Microsoft, as people are probably aware, is they kind of change the rules. So things start off looking really good, and then they reduce your margin, your discounts reduce, your NFRs reduce. I know recently they've just reduced the entitlement with the Action Pack down from 250 seats with Office 365 down to 5. You don't get that restriction through Blue Solutions.
And for anybody listening to this who wants to find out more about AppRiver or indeed Blue Solutions as a distributor, how would they go about that?
Go to bluesolutions.co.uk. Or call in to the main sales team. I've got a product specialist that looks after the AppRiver services and Office 365. You can have a 30-day free trial with all those services. You get a portal to provision your customers. Come and try it. Come and take the trial. That's the best way.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, I appreciate your time. I hope you've had a good couple of days here at the EMEA conference, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So there you have it, 3 products that I think would be of interest to IT business owners. But I'm interested in your feedback. Do you find value in these conference interviews with vendors that I put together? Should I continue to do them? The idea is to give you a heads up of the cool tools that I've come across that can help you grow your IT business. But I'd really like to hear what you think. Do you find value in those type of interviews? Feel free to tweet me. I'm at Tubblog, TUBBLOG, or you can drop me an email at richard@tubblog.co.uk. One piece of feedback that you have shared with me, which I'm very grateful for, is some of you have said you'd like to hear more interviews with your peers, fellow IT business owners. Great feedback, and I'm going to take that feedback on board, and I've actually recorded a couple of interviews with really interesting and successful IT business owners that I'm going to share with you in the podcast in the weeks to come. So that's all for the podcast today. I'm off to catch my flight to Edinburgh for a weekend of rest, relaxation, and perhaps 1 or 2 Scottish whiskies. I hope you're having a great week, and I'll look forward to speaking to you soon.